Dear Diamonds and fellow Diamonds in the Rough. There's a lot going on in the gacha scene right now, and I do feel like the variety of games we have is growing exponentially, especially in the Hoyoverse, to be completely honest with you. Now, there is something I would like to point out. Wuthering Waves is a direct competitor to Genshin Impact. Hence, they are basically the same game, just different. You know, Wuthering Waves expand on the things that Genshin Impact has already done. Okay. However, for Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero, those are not open world exploration games. They're not. They're a different genre of games that we can also play and appreciate. Okay. Now, there's been this topic going on right now of, are we just tired of open world games made by everybody's bestie, Hex Shoes? Are open world gacha games still fun? Now, I'm pretty sure she's gonna come from the place of, we've played Genshin for a long time. We're kind of tired of that. And that sentiment is something I might agree with, because exploring in Wuthering Waves is something I haven't found myself doing. However, in Zenless Zone Zero, I don't have any pressure on me to explore. Kind of like Honkai Star Rail, there's no exploring to do, because maybe I've explored way too much in the Genshin Impact days that now I'm a little burnt out and not appreciative of the exploring aspect of Wuthering Waves as well. That could be a thing, I'm not sure. I still haven't full exploring mode in Wuthering Waves for sure. That's something I might have to do and then add on more to this topic. But for now, we see that there's a lot of dislikes, okay? There's a 50% dislike. People are not happy with her not liking a game on how it's played, etc. Which is classic gacha game community, which is something we also might have to address in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I started to get a little bit fatigued by open world gachas.
You don't have the right to.
Is that too controversial for me to?
No. Yes, it is too controversial for you to say. It is. No, you can't. You can't say that. You can't say that.
To say? Subscribe. I've started to get a bit exhausted by open world gachas. I think the thing about an open world game, what makes it special, what makes it incredible, is getting into the world that first time. Like Elden Ring is an open world game, and part of the joy of that open world is getting to explore it, like the freedom of it. But
exactly.
Like, the second and third time you run through the game, you don't really give a fuck to see all the sights and
100%. And maybe this plays on the fact that Genshin Impact was Genshin Impact 1, and it was a exploring game for a lot of people. I mean, I've played The Witcher 3, and Witcher 3, I would say, is kind of an exploration game, because if you don't explore, you don't get certain side quests, and certain side quests that are very impactful and pretty good that if you miss, you're like, damn, this was here all this time. Like The Witcher 3, what I love the most about it is the first playthrough never resembles the second and the third and the fourth. It's like, it's a game you can definitely keep replaying, and every time you can tackle in a different way that it feels like a brand new game, like something you didn't see before. It's like, wow, what is this? It's like a brand new dimension to the game you've been playing. It's fucking superb. Maybe Wuthering Waves didn't feel the same because we already had Genshin. Maybe because we've already been there, kind of.
In Elden Ring, you need to get your weapon, you need to get your items, you need to get your armor, you need to beat the bosses, you need to you need to get the fuck out of there. You don't care anymore.
Meta
and
shit.
The thing is like, in a gacha game, you're supposed to technically log in daily. You're incentivized to log in daily. And so the allure of that
if you don't want to spend money,
open world, I think, dies down rather quickly, because it's like, okay, the open world is fun for like the first week or two after you get a new area, and then it's just space. And I'm starting to feel like, baby, I just don't care. I think that a lot of people got into gacha games with Genshin or Wuthering Waves and expect something that this just isn't. Gacha games did not start being more like games until after Genshin.
Exactly.
So people who started playing at Genshin don't necessarily understand the allure of brain rot the way that somebody who played like regular gacha games before. I like this game
because Genshin is what propulsed gacha games to the mainstream, and it's because it's actually a good full-fledged game. Like, it's actually, you know, kind of like a AAA game in a sense. Gacha games in the past were definitely not that, dude. Look at that, definitely not that.
It has a lot of issues, glaring issues, but there is a sort of feel-good enjoyment aspect to this game that I do genuinely recommend. I almost just wish that more gacha games would try totally different genres and try.
Yeah, it's kind of what Honkai Star Rail is doing and Zenless Zone Zero is doing, but I feel like something's already been happening in the gacha game scenery. Correct me if I'm wrong. And ultimately, that's what gacha games are. They're feel-good games. They're not supposed to be these games that are like, oh my God, you're so good at this game. Like, let me clap at you. We're gonna have esports for this gacha game. Fuck no. These are games for you to feel good, relax. Just you're done with the day. You just want to relax somewhere. You just do it in a fucking gacha game. And the moment it's starting to feel like a chore, it means it's no longer relaxing, which means you gotta drop the gachas and maybe move to a normal video game, you know, like everybody else.
Try totally different things and maybe innovate outside of what has already been done, because I think that gacha has so many places it could go, but it just hasn't yet, because ultimately gacha is a monetization system first, and then you can build on top of it whatever you want.
It's a slot machine.
I'm starting to feel like maybe,
and I feel like it's starting to go away from gacha and it's already going into the mainstream, and I'm not going to be surprised if these gacha games keep being successful, they keep racking up millions and millions of dollars, that gaming companies are going to look at them and go, wait, this works. Why not do this? I mean, people are eating this shit up. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see.
I would prefer that gacha games spend less time developing an open world and more time developing interesting gameplay. Is this an insane opinion? Because I'm not saying that it's bad.
No, I totally agree. I don't give a shit if I'm going to explore the world once and then the gameplay loop is just boring and lame. Obviously, that's not going to keep me playing. Fuck your exploration at that point. But if the gameplay loop is good, yeah, I totally agree with this take.
I'm just saying that maybe gacha games being open world just doesn't really add that much to the game. Like,
that's because it doesn't.
Sure that it adds enough.
Do you guys explore in Honkai Star Rail? I don't. I don't. I don't give a shit. And the whole point of Honkai Star Rail is I can just log in, do autoplay, alt tab, and that's it. You know? And from time to time, you do one more time, and that's it. That's Honkai Star Rail in a nutshell.
To the game that I consistently want that. Nah, you are right. Gacha can easily be 3 AAA type games that they choose not to be. It adds a serious time sink. Like, it adds a lot of time sink. It adds a lot of complexity. And honestly, don't you think maybe if like games put less effort into developing an open world and more effort into developing everything else, the games would be better than trying to pad out an open world that isn't really that meaningful over time? This has been rolling around in my head for a while, because there's something about Wuwa. It's just like, I don't really want to explore the open world all that much. But I think that gacha could be other game genres, and they just kind of don't be doing that. And maybe if they didn't have to make these like massive open spaces, right? They didn't have to make these big open worlds and put effort into other parts of the game. I just feel like maybe they'd be better games. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, duh. If we can have better gameplay loops, fuck yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. What's the why are people disliking this so much? Yeah, that's true. What's the problem?
Like, it's fun, but it just is like, I just kind of feel like I'd want different stuff. Because like the reality is,
if the world exploration is going to come at the cost of the daily grind and the gameplay loop that we have to keep doing each and every day, that's kind of where we kind of have an issue, which is what I think Hex is trying to say here. Maybe she didn't specify it. And maybe that's why motherfuckers are disliking the shit. A gacha game wants you to immerse in the world, and an open world is the best way to do it. Who wants loading screens? Smart. Smart. True. If I'm going to compare my gameplay smoothness from Zenless Zone Zero to, say, for example, Wuthering Waves, oh yeah, Wuthering Waves win by a mile, because everything I want to do in Zenless Zone Zero is locked behind the fucking loading screen. It kills immersion. It's fucking annoying. I agree. True. Points to that.
Is like the beauty of an open world game is ultimately exploring it and seeing it all for the first time. But that really, you capture that perfectly in a game that is a story that you sort of play through and it ends. But when the game doesn't end and it's an open world that they just keep adding on to, the open world sort of loses its like allure and its meaning over time. I thought it was just Genshin combat that bored me, but the exact same thing happened with Wuwa in the same time frame. People have some whack opinion that TV segments are padding and should be more like like Genshin. I think that the TV segments are a bit of game padding, but I don't think this game should be more like Genshin. I would not.
No, it's not supposed to be like Genshin, nor is it intended to be like Genshin. Genshin is Genshin. Hoyoverse is like, okay, well, you want world exploration, play fucking Genshin. You want turn-based, you play Star Rail. You want combat, you want like hardcore combos and shit, Zenless Zone Zero. And so it goes. That's like their target. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to encompass all types of video games into one IP, which is the Hoyoverse.
Genshin. Like, it's just a perspective that I've sort of been gaining, because it's like exploring the open world in Wuthering Waves was really, really, really fun for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then the excitement of that sort of died down. And so like maybe people really, really still want that. But like, I honestly just think that gacha as a genre could do so much more. I just feel like gacha as a genre could be more. I
feel like they're already doing that. I mean, that's what Hoyoverse is trying to do personally. Am I crazy for that take? Yeah, I feel like Hoyoverse is already doing that. I'm pretty sure Azure Premilia might do that, but we'll see. We'll see. But I feel like they're already doing that.
Do more, and then they just don't. And so I guess I'd rather like games go into developing other stuff, like other parts of games, other types of gacha games. There's so much potential behind gacha that these companies don't do because they sort of remake things. I'm excited for Azure Premilia to be.
Yeah, well, because why try something new when you can just copy paste from the smart kid and make sure you're gonna have a good score? You know what I mean? Why do that, man? Why do that? Why bother with that shit? Why take risks? I mean, it's fucking millions of dollars that go into production. So yeah, just copy from the smart kid and you'll be just fine.
Don't do because they sort of remake things. I'm excited for Azure Premilia, to be clear.
Me too.
I'm excited for Azure Premilia. I think the game looks really fun and really cool. But I think there's a certain part of me that feels
same complaints.
Pretty fatigued by open worlds.
Yep.
Like, even in Elden Ring, like, I don't really give a fuck about the open world in Elden Ring anymore. And the only time I've been excited about the open world again in Elden Ring was for the DLC. Because it was...
Yeah, so basically, she's burnt out. She's burnt out. But that doesn't mean they should stop making it. They should stop making it for people like you and me. Sure. But there's still good games that people can enjoy. It's like open world games could be, I guess what she's trying to say is a bit of a waste of resources and a lot of manpower go into the open world type of thing, where that manpower could be spent on just focus on the gameplay. In my opinion, it should do both. If you're going to include open world, you should do both. That's it. Like, don't bring me an open world where the gameplay loop sucks. Looking at you, Genshin.
Was new. I honestly think that like a gacha Souls-like would be really interesting. I know that that's really crazy. And
that is
how
crazy.
they would do that, but it feels like it could be done if they wanted to do.
I think they've already announced a gacha game that's supposed to be a soul-based game. Yeah, we got Unending Dawn. That's a good fucking gacha game that seems to be in the works. It seems to be cooking for quite some time. I feel like maybe that might spice things up a little. That might spice things up.
I don't know. I want gacha to explore more genres. They kind of do the same genres over and over again. Have I lost my mind? A gacha side scroller? I don't know. I just feel like it could be more than it is. And I feel like continuing to develop kinds of games that have already worked, like we're not learning anything about the shit. What about like just a straight up roguelike? Something like that.
True.
Roguelite, some shit. I don't know. Like, why not try more things? But don't get
Imagine a GTA gacha game. That'd be fucking insane. Imagine a big ass project that's like GTA type game, but is gacha. Jesus.
But because they're older and kind of shittier. But like, I wish that these companies that can make like really nice, cool games would innovate more. I wish that they would be new games, because some of these do exist in like older gacha games. Like, older gacha games are kind of, we can be honest, we can be real with each other. Older gacha games are really shitty.
Yeah, they are.
Ass. They don't look good. They don't like, they don't play well. Like they don't.
They're broken messes of games that are just there for your money.
Features of gacha. I would love it if they just made like more types of genres, because it feels like gacha games sort of go back to the same things over and over and over again. And I want more. You want to pull a PNG that does nothing? Nah. No, I don't. Because
Yeah, I don't.
99% of gacha games back are for mobile. Yeah, so I want them to like start doing new things again. Because I mean, like gacha games have sort of defaulted to being sort of the same stuff. I don't want any more open world gacha games. I've already gotten those. I don't want any more. Like, I like this game. I don't want any more instance-based gacha games. There are a ton of those that already exist. I don't really want a turn-based gacha game. Those exist in multiple forms.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I wish that these companies would make that is new. I don't know. I just want more from my games. Have you tried Nikkei? I have. The gameplay for me is not hitting, and I am a bit of a gameplay freak. Has it usually been like?
It's just too much tits and ass for me, to be honest. I don't want to stay in the shower for too long, and I don't want to shower multiple times a day every time I fire off Nikkei, so I can't.
Like that? Yeah, but like what if it just like wasn't, and then we could get more people into these kind of games? I think gacha games has a potential reach much further than it actually takes. And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
wish that they would just try other stuff. Because right now, the ultimate reality is that gacha games are really stuck in a very particular niche. Realistically, most gacha games are sort of taking from the same box of like players and just sort of spreading them around and splitting the player base over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
The more games come out. Like, it's not like we're really bringing in that many new people to gacha.
Oh, absolutely. But we do have millions and millions of players. And true, gacha games aren't really intrigued and trying to bring in and bridge gamers into gacha games. I mean, Wuthering Waves is trying. They're trying. But say, for example, Zenless Zone Zero and stuff like that, they're really not. They're really not. They're just moving already existing players to this one, and so it goes.
And so it would be really nice if they made a wider variety of gacha games, because the reality is like, the problem with Wuthering Waves is like, it is actually pretty decent. It's a good game, and I think it actually could bring in a wider audience. But the problem ends up being that it just looks like Genshin 2, and so a lot of normal gamers aren't going to play it because it's just like, it just looks like what Genshin was, and I didn't want to play Genshin either. Like, I don't know. I get that there's like a certain amount of like, oh, it's development, it's opportunity cost and all that shit. It just does kind of like suck that like gachas seem to just only be able to be one thing. And you could like lower some of the gacha aspects of it and make it more appealing to people.
Yeah.
Do I think that any of this is going to happen?
But that they don't care about appealing to you 1000%. They just want you to spend money. That's unfortunately the case.
Necessarily. Because like I've talked about things I'd like to change about this game. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really. But I still like to talk about it. That's kind of my job.
Yeah. Great video, man. I agree. Well, I think the thing that where she failed to formulate is, for the people that want to play these games, they're good. They are good. Sure, keep them coming. But please keep making more cool shit. Okay? Don't take them away. There's no need to take them away. Yeah, sure. If you want to do them, do them. I'm not going to enjoy them, though. As a casual, exploring feels more of a chore than it is, you know, something I really want to do. Because typically when I log into the game, I just want to do the daily shit just to keep up with currency so that I can get the new exciting unit and keep enjoying the gacha aspect of the fucking game. But for exploring, ain't nobody got time for that. Let's keep it real. Ain't nobody got time for that. So for players like that, they're obviously gonna. I'm with Hex on this one because that's the kind of player I am. I don't really care. I don't really care about the fucking exploring right now. I really don't. I seriously don't. What do you think? Do you think these games should just stop giving us open world? Do you think they should just keep giving us every aspect of different genre of video games, and all of us can try and put our hands on different types of video games? Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. See you.